guys and gals, welcome back to the channel. If those of you watch my video from yesterday, you would know that we are down here in sunny Florida. Well, cloudy today, but warm, pretty warm. Nice in the mid 70s today, while the rest of the country is getting pummeled by this winter weather. And I do love snow. I'm a Northling at heart, but I'm not gonna lie, it feels so good being down here simply because I went an entire 2 months without fishing. For me, that's pretty long, and it's because of this major wrist surgery I had. I need to get out here, work the kinks out, get back into the rhythm of things before my tournament kicks off in a week. Y'all watched the video from yesterday. You saw me get absolutely humbled by a jerkbait and forward-facing sonar as my buddy put on an absolute clinic right next to me. So that taught me one of two things. One, that's a tool that is important to have. It's not the end-all be-all, but I definitely saw how it worked yesterday, and the only thing those fish wanted was that dang jerkbait. But two, it taught me that I need to give myself a little bit of a slack, get out here and spend an entire day not worrying about that stuff at all and fishing how I like to, because it's important to stay mentally strong as well as it is to be up on your game. So today I decided not to even worry about forward-facing sonar, not to worry about any type of jerk baits or little forward-facing sonar baits, none of that. Not doing that today. We are at one of my favorite lakes down here. It's got a ton of shallow water cover. Power fisherman's dream, shallow water fisherman's dream. I don't even need electronics today. The entire lake is loaded. And another big difference from yesterday, we don't have a 25-mile-an-hour north wind, so way less chaotic. So hoping for today that I can kind of actually take the time. You guys will be able to hear me because the wind's not roaring in the background. We should be able to find some fish staging. There should be a lot of opportunities with some big fish. So I'm gonna take you all along, have some fun, take a little mental breather from yesterday, and completely switch it up today. So those of you that saw my video from yesterday, this is night and day difference. I am able to, the wind was so bad, it was 25 mile an hour out of the north. I could barely keep my kayak straight. It's glass right now. I love this. I can stand up, use my foot control steering, just kind of like a little trolling motor, hands-free, and work this big swim bait and swim it over this flooded hay grass and reeds. That's one of my favorite ways to fish too. I feel like I can be very efficient like this. I love standing and fishing, and this kind of allows me to slowly creep along this flooded cover and fish it. Huh? Yeah.
This can get sketchy here. Yep, sorry.
You're good, I got it.
It just shuts on and off for some reason.
I know that. Equipment never works the way it's supposed to. So, big fish buys ice cream with the double digits, ice cream, and a case of beer. All right. I feel generous, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and catch big fish today. Question is, that big fish gonna want a gilly, or is it gonna want something else, something a little slower? Brings me right back to Caddo. Feel right at home. Just got my first bite on the Berkeley spinnerbait. The wind picked up a little bit. I don't know if you guys can tell, so I thought the spinnerbait might get a little attention for somebody, and it did. So we're gonna keep kind of running this inside grass line, this protected side that's still got enough of a ripple. Got a good old thump on a spinnerbait. You guys. Oh, super healthy fish on that spinnerbait. Woo! That's how we like to do it. All right, y'all, that's a pretty good one right there. The tandem 3/4 ounce Berkeley spinnerbait. We'll take it. All right, y'all, we'll take that. First fish of the day was a solid one. It was a really good fish to start the day off with. Like I said, the wind started kind of picking up a little bit. You can see how it's just kind of strumming through these pads. It's a great conditions, overcast for a spinnerbait. So might keep that in my hands, keep fishing around a little bit, see if we can't find an absolute giant. Oh, that's a good one, I think. Definitely a good one. Kill my motor so I don't run into these pads. I thought these pads looked pretty good. Oh, That's a big one. Hook good though, hook good. Goodness, these Florida fish fishing. Florida fish fight so hard. That's a nice one right there, you guys. Heck yeah. About straighten my spinner bait. Big old Florida fish. This is how we like to do things. This is in our wheelhouse. Oh, feather and a spinner bait through those pads. That's a beauty. And you know what, you guys? We're going back to absolute old school. We're gonna power these things off for the rest of the day. We are going back to no graphs. Getting back to old school fishing, simple fishing. I know I put a lot of these high-tech kind of kayak rigging videos out there, and I do some forward-facing sonar videos, especially up north when I'm fishing smallmouth. But you guys know, if you don't know, if you're new here, to my core, I love the simplicity of this. I love going out and sight fishing and fishing visual targets and shallow water power fishing. I don't like staring at a screen. I grew up with a TV, for goodness sakes, y'all. Like, it's not my thing, but I'm a realist and I'm a competitor, and I want to be the best at my game, and that means being good at everything. But today, we're not doing that. We're doing what we like to do. Let's keep doing it. Hold that out. That was the mouth right there. All right, one thing we're gonna do, we're gonna trim this skirt up a little bit. You see how it's actually hanging past my trailer? I just noticed that. I like this really finessey trailer, so I'm just gonna kind of, but I don't want my skirt to be that long. I'm gonna just kind of go in and reduce some of those. Yeah, it's much better. Much better. Shot there. See the mixture of pads and that grass? Money every single time. I almost, matter of fact, almost was getting ready to stand up because I don't like sitting down trying to get a good hook set in this situation. Ooh. Boy, they seem to really be on these pads right now. Oh! That might have been a big one, I'm not sure. Little male. Little male. That one had it for a second. Yo, what's the report? Yeah, that, so I've caught a couple small ones in here. I did lose a pretty big one on a gilly, but those pads that are like just past Jordan, I caught 3 fish on a spinnerbait. Wow. And I never slowed down, so like I wonder, you know, if those fish are kind of in those pads, and if we kind of slowed down. I mean, it was like, it was pretty good. And I just caught those fish on the edges of the pads. I didn't really even, you know, I got a spinnerbait maybe 10 feet in, but I stopped and fished them good because it had some of that hay grass kind of popping up in random places around it. I think that's a good thing. Yeah, you see how that some of that grass is sticking up in those pads? It's like a 200-yard stretch. I got bit. Oh, shoot.
What was that on?
It's a worm way out in the middle of them. Oh gosh, there's another one. Shoot. I thought I had too much slack in my rod.
I did not want to cast there.
I literally don't believe you because you would do that.
I meant to cast by it, not like right where you were like, oh, is that?
How's the motor working?
Alright, fine.
Good.
I think I had a like a bunch of stuff going.
Gotcha.
My remote was all screwed up too.
Do you see that? Yeah.
Not a swimming worm, just
But I'm not swimming and I'm just kind of working like that, you know, just working it real slow. You guys, a lot of people have a really tough time with pads. I think pads are very intimidating, especially when there's endless pads. How do you fish those effectively? How do you break them down? How do you determine what's productive water and what's not? So when the conditions allow for it, and what I mean by that, when it's sun's up high in the sky, there's not a lick of wind out there, it's a little more difficult to do this. But if it's cloudy, overcast, and there's some wind, I like to use what I call search baits. I like to fish fast. I like to use spinner baits, you know, swim baits, swim jigs, and fish them really fast and cover a lot of water in the pads, because a lot of times what I'm going to find is that certain groups of pads are going to hold fish. Then if I want to, I will stay there in that area once I get a big bite or two, and I'll start slowing down and methodically fish that area of pads. Today we're not going to do that because I want to fish fast, but typically that's what I would do to find that productive area of pads. And another thing, what I look for in pads, if there's just pads and pads and pads, I do try to find areas of pads that do have a little bit of diversity or character. What I mean by that is pads that have some different types of grass mixed in, pads that have a little bit of diversity in arrangement. They've got some points or some cuts in them and areas where fish can kind of set up and they'll form some wind current along the outsides, not just straight thick solid pads. I like to find just sparse groups of pads and pads with points. You know, if the sun is up and there's not a lot of wind, a lot of times obviously a frog's a good option, but another thing that I'll do is just fish a Texas rig, super light Texas rig worm or creature bait. You can swim them both, or swim and worm, another way where you're not fishing quite as slow maybe, but you can cover more water with the pads. Spinner bait, it's a good one. Probably an 18. Nice, super. Ooh, this fish has got some nasty stuff on it.
Where'd you get that one on?
A spinner bait. Woo! Skeeters are freaking going to town on my ankles. Well, it's starting to rain pretty hard and I forgot my rain jacket. So I am motoring back as fast as I can to the truck. There's only about 30 minutes of light left anyway, but you guys, that was so much more fun. That was so fun. Definitely needed that. This is such a cool lake. Hopefully y'all picked up a few tips on how to fish pads more effectively and kind of fish this type of situation I got going down here. There'll be more to come. Appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for following along. Make sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment, and we'll catch you next time.